you've been on 12 corporate boards. I'm wondering if you can share some advice about the interview process and best practices.
So 2 words, due diligence. You're going to have to do a lot of it. You really have to think about wearing the liability and the risks with the other board members. So a couple of things that I have done and I like to do, first off, is find out if there's an ex-director who might be willing to meet with you. What that does is give you a sense of why they left the board. Often it's just they've been there for 6 to 8 years and it's time to renew the board, and they step down willingly and happily. They also are able to give you a little bit of intel on the board dynamic, which is very important because as with any grouping of people, there are different dynamics and different factions, just to understand how they interrelate and interact. The other thing I would say is try and meet, if you can, every board member that you will be sitting on the board with. Try and get more than just 15 or 20 minutes. A coffee or a lunch is very useful. Sometimes it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. That's really important to hear. The other things I would say is if you can get some time with the CFO and go over the financials, really understand the finances of the business, how they make their money, how they pay their employees, how they pay their suppliers, all that kind of stuff, their operations, and just to get a really good grounding of what the business and how the business works is really important.
I'm curious here. I mean, is this standard? I mean, is this something that would someone feel like they're going outside the norm to ask the CFO to see all this information in the interview process? Is that, how should someone feel asking that question?
So I think it depends how far down the road you are. If this is an initial phone call, yes, that would be inappropriate. But if you've been down the road where you've met an ex-director and they were comfortable giving you the name of an ex-director and you have met all the other board members, meeting with the CFO would not be considered inappropriate, and certainly not with a publicly listed company because they will be going over all the publicly available financials with you anyway. So I wouldn't say those are outside the norm or outside the realm of comfort.
So it sounds like for all your board positions, you have really done your homework. And I'm wondering if there's an example of one where you did your homework and decided not to be on the board.
I would say that the example was I joined a board, did not realize some of the individuals on the board were people I would prefer not to share a liability with. And it made for a very uncomfortable situation that was very unhappy for everybody at the board level. It did eventually resolve itself, but I would say that is why I have those pieces of advice for somebody who is looking to join a corporate board.